daughters of Eve. We were their forbidden fruit. Sons were born to us, monsters of divinity and flesh. The Nephilim.
There were giants in the earth in those days.
There were giants in the earth in those days. Nephilim. A new creation. Serpent seed.
Every culture on Earth speaks of a war among the gods, a cosmic rebellion that split heaven itself. In Sumer, they called it the conflict of the Anunnaki. In India, the war of the Devas and Asuras. In Greece, the Titanomachy. In Egypt, the war of Horus and Set. The gods were almost never united. They were at war. Texts speak of weapons of terror, instruments that burned mountains and evaporated rivers. In the Lament for Ur, we read, "The storm's roar was like a dragon. The cities melted like wax." The same imagery repeats in the Mahabharata. Weapons of fire, brilliant as 1,000 suns, raining down upon armies of gods and men. In India, the Asuras fell from the sky after their defeat. In Sumer, the fallen gods were exiled to the underworld. In Greece, the Titans were cast into Tartarus. In the Hittite archives, the old gods, identical to the Anunnaki, are said to dwell beneath the earth, still alive, still watching. When the flood came, the reset, both sides lost their empires, but the survivors carried their banners to new lands. Enki's line became the Serpent Kings, the Naga, the Quetzalcoatl, the Dragon Lords of China. Enlil's line became the storm gods, Zeus, Indra, Yahweh. Every later pantheon is a memory of that original schism. The Book of Enoch describes 200 beings landing on Mount Hermon, teaching metalwork, enchantments, and astronomy. They were remnants of Enki's faction, engineers and scientists who broke divine law by giving humans knowledge. The church would later call this heresy. Ancient Egypt encodes the same war. Horus, the falcon god, fights Set, the red one, lord of chaos. Horus loses an eye, Set loses his manhood. Order and chaos, light and darkness, locked in balance. In the pyramid texts, the gods lament. The children of the sky fight among themselves. Their roar shakes the foundations of the world. Could this be a poetic echo of the same conflict remembered in Sumer in India? A war that began off-world and ended beneath the sea? One side sought to free humanity, the other sought to rule it. And when the smoke cleared, the victors rewrote the story, turning rebels into devils and conquerors into gods. The myths say the Asura were destroyed, banished after the great war between gods and men. But myths also say they were immortal. You can't destroy what isn't bound by time. You can only force it underground, or make humanity forget. Across India and Sri Lanka, the legends speak of the Naga, serpent beings said to have retreated into subterranean realms after the floods. In Sanskrit, Naga doesn't just mean snake. It means those who move unseen. Some texts say they dwell beneath rivers, mountains, and oceans, guarding forbidden knowledge until the next age of man. In Tamil epics, Ravana was called a hybrid king, born of two bloodlines, one human, one not. His skin said to shimmer like scales in sunlight. His voice, deep enough to shake the air. A being who could shift shape and command flight. And even after his fall, the texts promise his return. Look closer at what happens every time civilization resets. New gods emerge, new rulers claim divine ancestry, and the serpent symbol always returns. The idea of an ancient reptilian race sounds absurd, until you realize the oldest cultures on Earth all warned about them, and all described them the same way. Across the world, the same beings appear under different names. The Anunnaki of Sumer, the Watchers of Enoch, the Neteru of Egypt, the Serpent Kings of Mesoamerica. Different lands, different eras, one bloodline. The Mayans called them Kukulkan. The Aztecs knew him as Quetzalcoatl. The Egyptians called him Thoth or Atum, the Serpent of Rebirth. The Chinese still speak of Long, the dragon kings who came from the stars to teach civilization. The Nagas were said to live beneath sacred mountains, guardians of hidden technology. In Sumer, the Apkallu were 7 sages sent to restore civilization after the flood. In Greece, Cecrops, founder of Athens, was half human, half serpent. In Mesoamerica, the Olmecs built colossal heads with distinctly non-native features, elongated skulls and serpent motifs. The same hybrid legacy. When the flood came, whether it was 12,000 years ago or earlier, their empires fell beneath the sea. Lemuria, Atlantis, Kumarikandam. But their survivors scattered, merging with humans, seeding new civilizations. We find it in medicine, religion, government, and corporate emblems. The same iconography. The War of the Gods was real. It had to leave scars, and across the planet, we find them. In the Indus Valley, archaeologists uncovered a city frozen in panic, Mohenjo-Daro. Streets littered with skeletons, bodies fused to the ground, their bones still carrying abnormal radiation. Surrounding walls and pottery show signs of vitrification. Stone melted as if by a flash, hotter than any natural fire. Half a world away, in the Jordan Valley, another city met the same fate. Excavations at Tol El Hammam, often identified with the biblical Sodom, revealed shocked quartz, trinitite-like glass, and a destruction layer 5 feet thick. The soil was cooked to over 2,000 degrees Celsius. The pattern matches neither volcanic activity nor conventional warfare. In northern Scotland, ancient hill forts stand as blackened husks, granite fused into liquid glass. Local lore calls them the forts the gods set aflame. The oldest stories of divine conflict survive only because a few scribes dared to copy them, usually at the edge of collapse. And in Death Valley, Nevada, desert glass stretches for miles, chemically identical to post-nuclear melt. The Enuma Elish, describing Marduk's battle with Tiamat, is itself a copy. The originals, older, written in Sumerian, were already gone. When the library of Ashurbanipal burned in 612 BCE, 30,000 tablets turned to ash. Among them, texts said to detail the wars of heaven. Greek historians wrote that beneath the library of Alexandria stood a second vault, the Serapeum, built of fireproof stone. Inside, they said, were scrolls of the elder gods, sealed away after the flood. The vault exists. The scrolls do not. What survives are fragments, enough to hint at a truth, never enough to prove it. As if someone, or something, wanted the memory of that war erased. Every war leaves behind its weapons. The question is whether we still possess one. In Heliopolis, Egypt, priests guarded the Benben stone, a conical object said to have fallen from heaven, glowing with light. It sat atop the first pyramid, source of the pharaoh's authority. In Arabia, pilgrims circle a relic called Al-Hajar al-Aswad, the black stone of Mecca. Islamic tradition calls it meteoric, but its exact composition remains unknown. Samples are forbidden. In India, the Syamantaka gem of Krishna, in Tibet, the Chintamani stone, in Mesoamerica, the heart of the sun, all describe a luminous fragment that grants divine power, fallen from the sky during the wars of the gods. Could these be scattered pieces of the same artifact, the energy core, command node, or weapon that ended the last age? If so, it explains why each culture treats its fragment as sacred, untouchable, and sealed from public study. The gods may have vanished, but their arsenal didn't. It was buried, enshrined, and mythologized, until only pilgrims and priests were allowed to see it. Extraterrestrial beings are real. They have been here before, and they will be here again. They live on timelines so vast we can't comprehend them. Others were remembered as gods, angels, demons, or titans. And when the flood came, the event remembered in every ancient culture, their civilizations were buried, their machines lost, and humanity reset. By the time Sumer rose, the stories of these beings had already begun to fossilize. This is the birth of all Earth religion. The Sumerians never saw the Anunnaki. They only remembered them. And the reason the myths from every corner of the world sound the same sky gods, the same flood, the same genetic creation stories, is because every one of those cultures carried fragments of the same memory, the time the gods were flesh.
And what?
And also after that.
And also after that. What does that mean? After the flood, they began to do it all over again. Okay, here's your story, your underlying story that they don't tell you about Sodom and Gomorrah. About when we were in the wilderness having to fight against them. They only talk about the sexual perversions. They don't talk about what? The spirit that led to the dysfunction. Fallen angels dealing with women. Bringing forth hybrids. Brothers and sisters, it never stopped. It never stopped. How do you know this? Well, Christ said what? How do you know it never stopped?
JD Vance just said he thinks aliens are actually demons. Listen to this.
You're going to release all the UFO files?
We're working on it. It's funny. When I came in, I was obsessed with the UFO files. And then you start getting really busy worrying about the economy and national security and things like that. But I've still got 3 more years as vice president. I will get to the bottom of the UFO files.
Okay. Have you peeked? Have you done a peek?
Have I what?
Have you done a peek? Have you
So I actually haven't. I have
full
not.
Independence Day.
I have not been able to spend enough time on this to really understand it. Yeah. But I am going to. Trust me. I'm obsessed with this. I've already had a couple of times where I'm like, all right, we're going to Area 51. We're going out to New Mexico. We're going to sort of get to the bottom of this. And then the timing of the trip just didn't work out. But trust me, anybody who's curious about this, I'm more curious than anybody. And I've got 3 years of the very, very tippy top of the classification. I'm going to get to the bottom of it.
Okay. So you haven't been to Area 51 yet?
Not yet.
Some people say they keep the UFOs in Ohio. They might,
Hangar 18, Hangar 18, right?
I've
heard that as well. Mm-hmm. But I don't know. I haven't looked into it yet.
Okay. All right. Well, we're waiting for it. We saw aliens.gov. We saw aliens.gov.
I don't think they're aliens. I think they're demons anyway, but that's a longer discussion.
So you think they're demons?
Well, look, I think that celestial beings who fly around, who do weird things to people, I think that the desire to describe everything celestial, everything as otherworldly, to describe it as aliens, I mean, every great world religion, including Christianity, the one that I believe in, has understood that there are weird things out there. And there are things that are very difficult to explain. And I naturally go, when I hear about sort of extra natural phenomenon, that's where I go to, is the Christian understanding that, there's a lot of good out there, but there's also some evil out there. And I think that one of the devil's great tricks is to convince people he never existed.
Hold this, elder lawyer, and let's go to Matthew, the 24th chapter. And then we're going back to Genesis real quick. This is how we know they have always done this and they never stop doing this. Go down to the 38th verse, Matthew 24, where Christ is talking about at the very end.
Start at 37.
37, let's read that.
But as the days of Noe were, so shall also the coming of the Son of Man be.
The days of Noah. Because of this action, the Most High told Methuselah to talk to Noah and build an ark. So as in the days of Noe were, so shall also the coming of the Son of Man be. Read.
For as in the days that were before the flood, they were eating and drinking and marrying and giving in marriage.
Who was marrying and giving into marriage, folks? Huh? The sons of God dealing with the daughters of men. Marriage isn't evil. Marriage isn't bad. So why is it a bad connotation in this particular context? Because these are forbidden marriages. The celestial is not supposed to deal with women. See? Marrying and giving into marriage until when?
Until the day that Noe entered into the ark.
Until the day that Noah entered into the ark. It never stopped happening, folks. It's been happening since before the flood, and it's still happening. Huh? So Noah lived through this. Why? Because the Most High preserved them in an ark. If he didn't preserve them, guess what? The Nephilim would have killed everyone. Would have killed everyone. When it comes to dinosaurs and all these others, these are hybrid creations, the mixture of animals that the book of Jasher talks about. They aren't prehistoric animals. These were animals which were mixed and weaponized against humanity. Okay? And it says here, there were giants in the earth in those days. When you look at the word giants in the 4th verse, it's what? The 4th verse, and there were giants, Nephilim, Napoleon, a giant, a bully, a tyrant. So they created these hybrids to become what? An army against the woman's seed. See? So all that stuff you see on Game of Thrones and all of that, folks, a lot of these are ancient legends pre-flood made into movies. Okay? So what's going on here? War all over the place. They're coming against us. They're eating us. They're sacrificing people. They're doing all types of crazy stuff. And Cain, his evil behind, is the king over this city with Satan, creating all of this wickedness. Right? I wonder that the disciples know about this. I wonder. Let's go to 2 Peter 2 and 4. 2 Peter 2 verse 4. Let's read that.
2 Peter 2 and 4. For if God spared not the angels that sinned.
For if God spared the angels, spared not the angels that sinned. So did the disciples know about this? Now the Christian church try to cover up these little pagan fallen angels they worship by claiming, no, the angels, they cannot deal with people because it says in the kingdom we'll be like angels. And you know, we can't marry. Well, hold up. We're not talking about regular angels that followed the heavenly order. The Bible here is talking about angels who disobeyed the heavenly order. See? The angels aren't supposed to, but they can if they want to. For if God spared not the angels that sinned, what was their sin? When the Son of Man, when it tell you in the beginning, when the sons of God came and dealt with the daughters of men, that was their sin. And if this wasn't a significant narrative that leads to judgment, Christ would not have had this within the doctrine for the disciples to understand, because we had to understand the principalities and powers we were up against. If you don't know what happened in the beginning, we have no idea what we're fighting against and what's fighting against us. That we're in a battle between what? The woman seed, who we are, and the serpent seed.
Stop the plane! Stop the plane! Stop the plane! Not going to. Not going to. Not going to. Nope. I was trying to listen. Nope. No. So what's going on? No. Stop it. Stop it. No. I need to get off this plane right now. I need to get the off this plane. We're going to the gate. See what happens. See what happens after this. See what happens.
Where's your bag? Is your bag still on there?
See what the happens after
she has a bag under her belt.
I don't even give a about my shit.
Call anybody out. License verified, disarm door, standby for all call.
So, because I need to know where she's originally supposed to be sitting. So you guys have how many seats? 5. I'm a licensed attorney, so just be careful. I'm a licensed attorney.
What are you gonna do? What are you gonna do about it? I'm telling you, I'm getting the off, and there's a reason why I'm getting the off, and everyone can either believe it or they cannot believe it. I don't give two but I am telling you right now, that mother back there is not real. And you can sit on this plane and you can die with them or not. I'm not going to.
See? For if God spared not the angels that sinned, but what?
But cast them down to hell and delivered them into chains of darkness to be reserved unto judgment.
There you go. So obviously, in the book of Isaiah, obviously, Satan's future, what he can look forward to at the end of that 120 Jubilees happened. He witnessed angels being bound into hell before the flood, knowing that that's his eventual judgment. But he have to walk the earth. Why? Because he have to fulfill the position, that void that was left by Adam until Christ returns.
Instincts. He gives you this extraordinary gift.
Adam sinned, the dominion was given to Adam. Getting to Satan. So this is why he's able to walk around and do what he want to do, because he was able to steal our dominion.
He sets the rules in opposition.
But right now they're trembling knowing that Christ will soon return
But don't touch.
and take back the dominion. And a lot of us through baptism, folks, have already begun to take back the dominion Adam and Eve lost.
And while you're jumping from one foot to the next, what is he doing?
Huh?
He's laughing his...
For if God spared not the angels that sinned, but cast them down to hell, and delivered them into chains of darkness to be reserved unto judgment.
Worship that.
Right?
Never.
And right after this happened, what happens next? 5.
And spared not the old world, but saved Noah the 8th person, a preacher of righteousness, bringing in the flood upon the world of the ungodly.
What is this? This is a thread from the beginning of creation, tracking all the places the Nephilim took hold. So the disciples were actually tracking the serpent seed even up until their present time. How they was also in the wilderness and caused a rebellion. How they were also fighting against what? Moses in the wilderness, and I'm going to show y'all that in a couple of seconds. We were always battling, and they're battling us till this very day. Okay? But they've become more creative with it. Okay? It's not just outright physical barbaric warfare anymore. Okay? Let's go now to the book of Jude. The book of Jude, the first chapter. And let's read the 6th verse.
Jude verse 6. And the angels which kept not their first estate, but left their own habitation, he have reserved in everlasting chains under darkness unto the judgment of the great day.
Look at that. And the angels which kept not their first estate. There's different bodies, celestial and terrestrial. So the first estate for the celestials is where? Heaven. Beyond earth. That was their first estate. An estate is where one lives. See? And it says, he have reserved in everlasting chains under darkness, under the judgment of the great day. At the end of the 120 Jubilees, guess what? The judgment happens for these fallen ones who have thrust all of mankind into hell. See, they know that's where they're going. They're just trying to trick us into joining them. See that?
Flaming as he fell through the ethereal sky.
It's every angel that fell in the days of Noah and the angels that fell with Satan were all bound except Satan. Now, the original angels are here.
Bottomless damnation.
There was another fall during the time of Jared where 200 angels came down that we're about to go into. Okay? You got what they call the old gods and the new gods. Okay? Let's go here, Elder Lloyd. Let's go down to where Enoch spoke of them. Let's start at 13, if you will.
Yes, sir, 13. Raging waves of the sea, foaming out of their own shame, wandering stars, to whom is reserved the blackness of darkness forever.
There you go. Wandering stars. Twinkle, twinkle, little star, how I wonder what you are. They wandered down like paramount, like you see. Let me show you here. They wandered down like you see here.
It's really necessary. Unchain me, Michael!
Return as my ally and devoted angel of the king.
Better to reign in hell, serving heaven.
Look, it's like they're playing in our faces, telling us, paramount. This is Mount Hermon, folks, where the 200 angels came down on Mount Hermon and began to deal with the women we read about in Genesis 6. Hollywood. These are the gods they serve, the fallen ones. Okay? A lot of their great theatrics when it comes to history and all of that, a lot of us, we be thinking that these people are geniuses and they got all these creative minds and all. No, these people are witches and warlocks who are getting information through channeling these old spirits who enter them so that they can direct everything. Okay? When I seen that movie Thor, in 3D. I was overseas when I seen it. I'm like, there's no way anyone on earth could have been that detailed concerning what goes on with the angels and all that in heaven, the way that it was being shown. I'm like, something must have been from there to give that illustration, because mankind, you can only create what you've actually experienced. You can't create a visualization of something that's not within your experience. So I'm like, something showed them this. You can only create within what you've learned, what you've experienced, what you've seen. Okay? Now let's go to the book of Enoch. Because why? Let's read it. Enoch.
And Enoch also, the seventh from Adam.
And Enoch, the seventh from Adam.
Prophesied of these.
Prophesied of these. That lets you know that this is not the Enoch, the original Enoch that came from Cain is a different Enoch. It's the seventh from Adam, Enoch. It says, he prophesied of these, saying, behold, read.
The Lord cometh with 10,000s of his saints to execute judgment upon all, and to convince all that are ungodly among them of their ungodly deeds, which they have ungodly committed, and of all their hard speeches which ungodly sinners have spoken against them.
Have spoken against them. Right? Now, what comes from the spirit of Nephilim? This is how you know when you're dealing with those same spirits. These spirits are what?
These are murmurers.
They're murmurers. These are they that whisper and try to turn people against one another. They have the spirit of Nephilim in them. They're what?
Complainers.
Nothing is right. They can only see what's wrong, because that gives them what? The platform to destroy and or attack. But really, they're what?
Walking after their own lusts.
It's really their own lusts that they're covering up. But if they complain and murmur, then guess what? No one sees them. See? Everybody else is the problem, when really they're trying to fulfill their own lusts. Read.
And their mouth speaketh great swelling words, having men's persons in admiration because of advantage.
There you go. Because what? They're doing this to gain an advantage over those they envy or hate, like Lucifer did from the beginning. So what is Peter? What is Jude? What are the disciples showing? To recognize when one of these fallen ones have entered a person. See? This is how you know when you're under attack by the Nephilim.
I let you in.
We're going to show you. But Enoch prophesied of these. So let's go to the book of Enoch and read almost the same thing verbatim. The book of Enoch 1 verse 9. Enoch 1 verse 9. Hold on.
Hey, you okay?
1 verse 9. He says almost the same exact thing. Enoch did the same exact quote. As a matter of fact, Jude is quoting from Enoch here. Read.
Enoch 1 and 9. Behold, he cometh with 10,000s of his holy ones, to execute judgment upon all, and to destroy all the ungodly, and to convict all flesh of all the works of their ungodliness which they have ungodly committed, and of all the hard things which ungodly sinners have spoken against him.
Hard things that ungodly sinners have spoken against him. This is what Jude was quoting from, and it was found in the Qumran caves. The Most High hid the information to give us at the very end the doctrine that was lost by the disciples. The Bible. Is it hard to understand?
When it comes to reading the Bible, The first thing that comes to mind is the fact that this is the Word of God.
The seals have been broken, and the truth is here.
And when we go throughout the scriptures, when we go throughout extra biblical records, we find that the language that God employed, that He used to create the heavens and the earth, was the Hebrew language.
Christ said, I came for the lost sheep of the house of Israel. But yet no one, no religious leader, no religious church out there anywhere can now identify the 12 tribes of Israel. Can we? God is quite simple, but it seems as if man makes understanding Him hard.
What are those mysteries?
The truth of your book and the truth will make you free. The Hebrew and Bible Academy, you're invited.